Hello everybody, and welcome back with the second lab for this semester. Assay of ketoprofen tablets. Ketoprofen is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug with a molecular formula C16H14O3 and molecular weight to 54.28 gram per mole. Principle: this assay is a back titration depend on reaction of excess of sodium hydroxide with the acidic moiety of ketoprofen to give what? A sodium salt. The unconsumed sodium hydroxide will react with HCl to give what? Sodium chloride. The provided powder is a triturated ketoprofen tablet having a label claim of 150 mg ketoprofen per tablet. And there are two versions, one for group B and the other for group A. For group A, you are going to work with 150 mg, while group B, you are going to make this assay for a ketoprofen tablets containing what? 100 mg ketoprofen per tablet. So be careful for calculation. And you are going to use the following procedure to verify the content per tablet, knowing that the allowable variation is plus minus 7.5% of the label claim. And you are going to indicate whether you will accept or reject this sample. Procedure: transfer accurately about 0.25 gram or around 0.25 gram of the powdered tablets into a conical flask. Add 5 ml ethanol and 25 ml water, then shake for 5 minutes. Add 20 ml of 0.1 normal sodium hydroxide, which is the excess sodium hydroxide, and shake for another 5 minutes. Back titrate the excess unconsumed sodium hydroxide against 0.1 normal HCl using phenolphthalein as indicator. Change of color من red to colorless. A blank experiment should be carried out. First, you should calculate equivalent. As I said, equivalent mean so that each 1 milliliter of the titrant اللي هو ال HCl اوكي وقد ايه النورماليتي لإله 0.1 normal 0.1 normal يعني for 0.1 normal what 0.1 normal HCl is equivalent to normality times volume times molecular weight over what P. أنا last lab شرحت مفصلا كيف بحسب شو هون النورماليتي والفوليوم والمولكيولر ويت وشو هو P. كل هدول تقدر تحصل عليهم what from the equation. طلع منيح 1 molecule of drug reacts with 1 molecule of sodium hydroxide to give what? The product. And at the same time 1 molecule of sodium hydroxide reacts with what? 1 molecule of hydrochloric acid. So you are going to calculate the equivalent. والunit للequivalent usually it's a gram. Content per tablet. Content per what? Tablet. At their content per tablet, because it is a back titration and because it is not experimentally, it is a theoretical way, so you are going to use 25 milliliter, you are going to use 20 milliliter as a blank, because 20 milliliter of 0.1 sodium hydroxide normal should take what? 20 milliliter min 0.1 normal HCl, because they are a primary standard. So you should put blank minus end point times the equivalent times what? اللي هو average weight over على weight taken. Average weight على what? Weight taken. average weight at day 0.5 and the weight taken 0.25. And finally you are going to find what the percentage recovery. For group A, don't forget, label claim it's 150 milligram, يعني 0.150. okay, will X the content and 100 times 100. While group B, you are going to change 150 to 0.100 to work with this assay. Okay, so you are going to add 20 milliliter of 20 milliliter of sodium hydroxide. There is a certain amount will react with the drug اللي هو الكيتوبروفين drug, and there is still unconsumed content of alkali, سميين unconsumed content of alkali. هل unconsumed amount of alkali titrated with HCl اللي بيصير له neutralization لصوديوم هيدروكسيد. اوكي بيصير له neutralization. So first drop excess من ال HCl اللي already موجود بالبيورات. first drop اوكي will change الفينول فتاليين اللي موجود مع بالالكالي ميديوم، هتحوله من pink لا colorless. ساعتها انا بعرف انه this assay is terminal. So in this case the endpoint obtained from this titration depends on what the unconsumed amount of sodium hydroxide. So adding 20 milliliter of sodium hydroxide, some react with ketoprofen, and the unconsumed sodium hydroxide will react with hydrochloric acid. So this endpoint is equivalent to unconsumed content of sodium hydroxide. So by abstraction of this endpoint from blank, this give what the amount of reacted sodium hydroxide with what ketoprofen. هالكايند من الأساي is a back titration. It's a back titration.